What is going on, everybody? Happy Cinco de Mayo. Everybody, get them tacos with those tequila shots. Today, I am your host, Israel Rivera, here with Prime Sports World, coming with another edition of Roundin the Bases, our MLB content, something new, baby, for everybody that loves baseball. This is presented by the one, the only Prime Sports World, baby. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You catch me on Twitter at Izzy_PSW. And I think David's is PSW_ at David. Whatever the case is, you can catch us there. And in case you missed this live feed on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, you guys can go ahead and catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard. That is Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, as Prime Sports World keeps you up to date, bringing the heat 24/7, 360 degrees around the access for you, ladies and gentlemen. But we got a lot to get to here. Man, been a good week. We missed this show last week. I figured, 2 weeks, I started with the first show, kind of get in there a little bit, and kind of groove in there a little bit. So I waited another week just to kind of see how things were shaking out, just to kind of see, where teams were how teams were going to be in their last 10 games. I think I'll do this every 2 weeks for everybody, that loves the MLB content here. But I mean, there's just been some, amazing teams. There's been some amazing, comebacks here. I mean, like the Dodgers, have won they're 7-3 in their last 10. The Rays are still hot. The Orioles are looking for real, ladies and gentlemen. But then you got teams like the White Sox that still haven't bounced back yet. All that talent on that roster, 3-7 in their last 10. The Cubs have kind of fizzled out a little bit as well. They're 3-7 in their last 10. I believe they just got swept by the Marlins, lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. And teams like the St. Louis Cardinals are just I know I got a lot of Cardinals fans out there. I give them a lot of stuff. I don't want to say the other word, but I give them a hard time all the time. But they're 1-9 in their last 10. I mean, I've never seen a team that with all that talent, a team that was projected to possibly be, finish second place in the Central, has just bottomed out. And there's a lot of Cardinals fans that are like, "Oh, it's still early. It's 162 games played. Blah 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 blah." But the Cardinals just don't look like a good team. Those bats are flat. The pitching isn't good. The defense isn't there. They're not a cohesive unit. They're not playing good baseball to start the season. 1-9 in their last 10 games. That is not good, ladies and gentlemen. That is not good at all. But I want to say one of the hottest teams here coming up. There's a whole bunch of 7-3 teams in the last 10. Like you got the Angels that have come back to life. You got the Padres that have come back to life. You got the Red Sox that have kind of come back to life. Another disappointing team is the New York Yankees. I would think that they'll kind of be where the Orioles are. The Orioles got an infusion of young talent they have been playing some great baseball, especially on the road. 12-6 this year on the road. This team, they have a +26 in run differentiation. 7-3 in their last 10. Those young studs are playing. The Red Sox are on a 6-game winning streak. They're 7-3 too, 7-3 as well. But you know what? Another team that has a 6-game win streak that I kind of trashed a little bit. They have a +42 in run differentiation. One of the guys that is a Dodgers fan, George, he's gonna like this. The Dodgers. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say what are the Dodgers fans? I was gonna make it a surprise, but the Dodgers are on a 6-game win streak as well. They're 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, this team was third place, tied for third with the Padres. The D-backs have kind of come back down to earth a little bit. But Mookie Betts is looking like an MVP candidate. I mean, the other day, Max Muncy hit a grand slam off the what was it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, hit a grand slam, walk-off grand slam against the Philadelphia Phillies, who've been playing good baseballs kind of so far this year. It's still early. Let these teams get in the swing and the mood of things, but the Dodgers have definitely come back to life. Or early on in the season, they're looking like another 100-win ball club this season. 8-2 in their last 10. They're definitely my team of the week or the last couple weeks coming into this show. Mookie Betts has played tremendous. The pitching's been on point. Clayton Kershaw, he remains, consistent at 35. I mean, in the month of April, he's got a 1.89 ERA through 6 starts, striking out 41 batters and only walking 5 in 38 innings. He's the NL pitcher of the month, according to MLB. Julio Urias and Noah Syndergaard kind of been struggling a little bit this season, but Julio Urias is kind of, he's getting through his little tough stretch here. Tony Gosselin, just getting back as well into the swing of things. But yeah, the Dodgers in the last episode, I believe the Dodgers were outside the top 10. That's how bad they were playing to start the season. And I get it. They have an influx. They have a couple rookies that they have in their lineup. Jay Hayes kind of been waking up. Max Muncy's always been a good power hitter. He's going to definitely hit over 35 home runs this year. But this team has an influx of young players and veterans mixed in. They remind me. I mean, they just have a great farm system. I mean, they remind me a lot of like the 2016 Cub team. They had a lot of good young players coming up in the farm system. Now they're getting in another sensational rookie in Gavin Stone, adding to the rotation. So the Dodgers are looking for real so far in the season. And my Cubbies, they fizzled out as well. So far, they've kind of come back down to earth to 3-7 in the last 10, kind of gone through a rough stretch, especially against the Marlins, especially against a team like the Nationals, teams that are low in the power rankings for Prime Sports World. So just a lot of stuff to, kind of digest here within, the first, couple months of the season. The Houston Astros, I mean, just last week or a couple weeks ago, they won the series against the Rays. That was a big one, for them to kind of come back into the swing of things. They're definitely back in the top 10. So the Houston Astros are on their way back as well. But yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-5 in their last 10. But they're on a 4-game losing streak. They are definitely coming back down to earth. But they're still atop of the NL Central because the NL Central is just bad. This division, the NL Central, might be the worst division in baseball. Next to the NL West, which I believe that the Houston Astros, will definitely I believe that the Houston Astros will definitely, be atop of this division. The Rangers are giving them a run for their money. But between the NL and the AL Central, I think the AL Central might be worse than NL Central. But the NL Central is a close second to the AL Central. The AL Central is just garbage. The Detroit Tigers are 13-17 are third place. Let me say that again. The Detroit Tigers at 13-17 are in third place. Nobody expected the Chicago White Sox to be 10-22 in fourth place. I mean, this team can't do a damn thing. They can't do a damn thing. They're minus 66 in run differentiation. Minus 66. I don't know about y'all, but that's the second worst in the league next to the Oakland A's. I don't know about y'all, but the Chicago White Sox are playing horrible baseball this year. Horrible baseball this year. It is tough going to a White Sox game and trying to root for the White Sox. Now, I don't know how that feels like because I'm not a White Sox fan. But I can only imagine. I have some friends that are White Sox fans. And they got those brown paper bags over their head. As a matter of fact, you have the second worst run differentiation team and the third. They have a worse run differentiation than the Kansas City Royals at 8-24. They have a worse run differentiation. Let me say that again, ladies and gentlemen. Than the Kansas City Royals, who are the second to last team in terms of the standings, overall standings. Only worse team than both of those guys are the Oakland A's, who are just god awful. God awful. You can't get worse than how the A's are playing. I think some college teams could beat the A's. I'm just joking, but that's how bad they've been. That's how bad they've been. Long season, like I said, but I just can't believe how bad the White Sox are. I can't believe how bad the Cardinals have played. I can't believe how flat the Yankees have come out. They're playing in a very tough division. The Orioles are on top. They're 9 games back. The New York Yankees are 9 games back from first place. Now, it's still early. They can come back and go on a crazy win streak. We've seen it happen, but with them Tampa Bay Rays, they got 2 guys in the MVP race. The 2 best teams, I think, in the MLB, in my opinion, they have 2 MVP candidates. In my rankings, they do. The Atlanta Braves and the Tampa Bay Rays have 2 guys that are MVP candidates on their team. Let me just put that in there. As a matter of fact, when it comes to the AL East, you have 3 MVP candidates in the AL East. 4 if you want to get technical with it, because I got an honorable mention. You will see later, a little down the line in the show, and this one won't be a long show. You have 4 AL MVP candidates between the Rays and the Blue Jays. 4 of them. The Yankees aren't even. Aaron Judge is not nowhere near. He's been flat. So that's just, early in the season. We'll see how everything kind of shakes out. But I'm just surprised with some of these teams, like the White Sox, the Cardinals. Oh God! So as long as that pains me to say that I thought the Cardinals would be good, and they've come out and they're hot garbage. Another team that I thought would be better. Philadelphia Phillies. Now, I didn't think that they'd be first place better than the Braves. I thought the Braves are always going to win that NL East. But Phillies lost 4 in a row. They're 7 games back from first place. I know it's a long season. They're 15-17. They have a -29 in run differentiation. They're 5-5. It's 500 in their last 10. Phillies aren't playing. They're playing very inconsistent baseball. I thought they'd be a lot better than what they are coming out the gate. Moving on to our PSW Power Rankings, ladies and gentlemen. At number 1, sitting at number 1 and number 2, we got the Raves and the Braves, baby. Yes, the Raves and the Braves. The Braves. We talked about it a little bit. Tampa Bay Rays, they leading the majors in run differential, batting average, on base percentage, home runs, runs per game, and team ERA. Now this is gonna be a tough, test for them. They have series with, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Brewers, the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Mets. And they only have 1 day off in the month of May. So this is going to be a big test for the Tampa Bay Rays. But, Wander Franco has been playing at an MVP level. Randy Arozarena has been playing at an MVP level. The Tampa Bay Rays, 25-6, are the best team in baseball right now. At number 2, I got the Atlanta Braves. Max Fried has been sensational. Since coming off an injury, coming off the hamstring injury. Spencer Strider's, I think, still one of the league leaders in Ks. I know he gave up 4 runs against the Mets the other day, but he still got the victory, improved to 4-0. has that 2.57 ERA. Ronald Acuna, he did get hurt. Ronald Acuna did get hurt a couple games ago, or a game ago. I think yesterday or so. So we'll kind of keep that under the microscope as well. But the Atlanta Braves are, their pitching has been sensational. The bats have been sensational. At number 3, I got the LA Dodgers. Like I said, I talked about them earlier. Man, they've been just flat out, 8-2. They've come out the dirt. And you picked themselves off the canvas early on in the season, and they have looked very, very good so far. Number 4, I got the Toronto Blue Jays. Matt Chapman is probably your leading MVP candidate. He has been sensational this year, especially in the month of April. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichetti's been great. Wait till some of those other guys like George Springer, start to kind of wake up with their bats. But the Toronto Blue Jays are definitely in the top 5 in the MLB rankings. Here at number 5, I got the Houston Astros. They've been coming back of late. Had some really tough series. Like I said, I talked about them beating the Rays a couple weeks ago. The Houston Astros are definitely back in the top 5. They still haven't gotten Jose Altuve and Michael Brantley coming back, but I mean they have come back and played some good baseball of late. Jose Abreu has been playing. He's been okay so far for them, but they expect a little bit more from him coming on this year. So the Houston Astros will be okay. Like that's all I got to say. They're well of late. At number 6, we have at number 6, we got the New York Mets. They've been playing great baseball, good baseball as well. Kind of roll through here. Number 7, we got the Brewers. And then at number 8, we got the Baltimore Orioles, who have been really good of late. I talked about it, man. Young talent on Baltimore. They've been playing well. They went on a 15-4 in April. They have sensational bats in their lineup. Watch out for the Baltimore Orioles, young team, scary good team for the Baltimore Orioles. At number 9, we got the Texas Rangers here, and around at the top 10, we got the San Diego Padres. They've been playing good baseball of late too. I believe they're 7-3 as well in their last 10. I mean, Juan Soto has been playing, great in the last 10 games. I mean, he's batting 333. He's got a slash of 333, 49, 528 sluggish percentage. And he's got 4 extra base hits to start the month of May. So he's been really good so far. Manny Machado's been great in his last 4 or 5 games here as well. And Fernando Tatis and Xander Bogaerts, they're starting to come along as well after coming out a little flat to begin the season. But definitely the San Diego Padres are in the top 10 of Prime Sports World MLB power rankings. At number 11, we got the Yankees. Talk about them briefly. They just, haven't been, themselves like they have been last year. I expect them to come back and kind of go on a run here. But losing, not having Aaron Judge to that hip strain, has kind of, hurt their lineup a little bit. They have a myriad of injuries there that are hurting them. Once they get healthy, I expect the New York Yankees to kind of go on a run here hopefully in the month of May, maybe in the month of June. But like I said, they are 9 games back from first place in the AL East. I don't expect that to continue. I expect them to kind of get in the swing of things in the middle of the summer. Like I said, long season for the New York Yankees. At number 12, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have lost 4 in a row. But the Pittsburgh Pirates, I thought that they would, they would fall off. They kind of, they kind of have come back down a little bit down to earth. They have a tough May schedule coming up. Tampa Bay Rays, the Blue Jays, Orioles, D-backs, Rangers, all winning teams right now, all in the top 3 in their divisions. If we can see what the Pirates, can do against those teams in the month of May. We'll see. But they came off 20-9. In the first month, beating the Dodgers, winning it like that. That said something about these young guys there in Pittsburgh. They rank in the top 10 in MLB in the runs scored at the plate and ERA on the mound. So they're getting there. They're coming. I don't know if they're for real just yet. It's still a long season, but the Pittsburgh Pirates are definitely coming up on. At number 13, we got the Minnesota Twins. 14, the Boston Red Sox. At number 15, the Philadelphia Phillies. I talked about the Phillies a little bit earlier. Hard loss the other day to the Dodgers, but I mean, them just getting Bryce Harper from Tommy John surgery on Tuesday. I know he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but I expect that rust to come off and those Philly bats to come right back in. He's the fastest player to return from Tommy John surgery ever. So that's saying something. He's definitely swinging the ball. He's not throwing. I don't think he's playing the outfield. It's just he's not throwing that ball as much. But yeah, Bryce Harper he's not throwing the ball at all. But yeah, Bryce Harper is, watch out for his bat coming back into the Philadelphia Phillies. And then, Zach Wheeler, he's been heating up of lately. He's won all three starts through all 3 of his last starts against the White Sox, Rockies, Mariners, and Astros there. Going in at number 16, my Chicago Cubs. They've kind of been flat. I mean, 3-7 in their last 10. Cody Bellinger's looking amazing so far. I mean, he's batting .297, slugging .604, on base percentage .604, slugging .371 in April. I mean, that's a total 180 degree turnaround from last April, from when he was. I think he's definitely being more patient at the plate. But the Cubs have definitely come down to earth a little bit. I expect them to kind of heat up as well too. One of the better offensive teams in Major League Baseball. At number 17, we got the Angels. At number 18, the D-backs. I was on the D-back train a little bit. They've come back down to earth a little bit. They were just atop the AL West. I mean the NL West. But the Dodgers have kind of went on a run there. It's going to be a 3-team race. We'll see how the D-backs are going into the season. Right now, they're sitting at 17-14 in second place so far. But like I said, man, I think right now the D-backs are young. Talking to some D-backs fans, they expected their team to kind of be in this position next year. So they're kind of ahead of schedule. Zach Gallen, who finished 5th in the NL Cy Young Award voting last year, he's, pitched, the 5th most innings in the majors with a 2.53 ERA, which is the 6th lowest in terms of, in terms of whip, and the 2nd highest strikeout to walk ratio. So Zach Gallen has played excellent baseball. He's been playing like a Cy Young Award winner so far this season. At number 19, we got the Seattle Mariners. Number 20, we got the Cleveland Guardians. 21, the Miami Marlins kind of come back to life there. But they've been playing decent baseball. I don't know if the Miami Marlins are a playoff team this season. They're kind of ahead of schedule as well. But they did sweep the Cubs over the weekend. They're improving every game so far. This team, Luis Arias is an MVP candidate. He's probably one of the best pure contact hitters in Major League Baseball. Was batting .438 in the month of April, which is the highest through any month through the first month since Barry Bonds hit .472 in 2004. So that's pretty high company when you're mentioned in the same name as Barry Bonds. Luis Arias is definitely a guy to watch out for when it comes to the MVP consideration this year. At number 22, we got the Giants. Number 23, the Reds. 24, the Chicago White Sox. Let me touch on the White Sox a little bit because I did not think that the White Sox, I mean, they just snapped their 10-game losing streak. This team has been very, very, very disappointing so far. They just delegated Oscar Collis back to the minors to kind of get his swing back. He's been struggling horribly at the plate and in the field this season. Tim Anderson, just getting Tim Anderson back it might help them a little bit, but that team has just not been good. The White Sox are probably one of the worst rotations outside of Dylan Cease. They are they are horrible from the seventh to the ninth. Like they could have a lead and they're going to give it up in between the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning. They boast a 7.65 ERA from the seventh inning on this season. That is the worst ERA in 3 innings of baseball in Major League Baseball. That is nearly a run worse than every other team in the majors. And I said it; they have the second worst run differential in the major leagues. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done for the Chicago White Sox. They're just continuing to free fall. I don't know what happened from last year to this year, but they have not gotten better. And then at number 25, the St. Louis Cardinals. They have gotten off to a rough start. They had a 10-game West Coast trip, and they went 2-8 in those series. So they're 1-9, like I said, in their last 10. They are horrible. They were horrible in the month of April, first month of the year. They were just god awful. But their rotation has to be better. Their rotation is, their ERA is at a 5. That is not good at all. So yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals on paper to start the season, they were looking like one of the better players, but they just have come out flat so far this season. And I don't know, that kind of puts a smile on my face a little bit as a Cubs fan. Anyways, at number 26, we got the Detroit Tigers. Number 27, we got the Nationals. And then rounding out the top 30, the last 3, we got the Rockies, Royals, and Athletics, who have just been god awful so far this season. I have nothing to say about the Athletics. Their starting rotation is 0-15 with a combined ERA of 8.51 in the month of April. That is just horrible. That is god awful. Oakland is on pace for the 3rd worst record in baseball history, behind the 1899 Cleveland Spiders and the 1890 Pittsburgh Alleghenies. That is horrible. They're probably going to, the worst team in the last 100 years was the 2003 Detroit Tigers, that 43-119. They're probably going to have a worse record than those guys. They will probably have a worse record than the 2003 Detroit Tigers. That's how bad the Oakland A's are. I'm sorry, Oakland, but you're. This is why Oakland is looking to move to Las Vegas. The team, the stadium's bad. Like Deion Sanders used to say, right? Deion Sanders used to say, "Hey, baby, you look good, feel good, you play good," right? And the Oakland A's are just playing in a terrible stadium. It's run down. The fan base don't show up. The stadium is not packed. It's hot in California. It's not like we playing baseball in the Midwest. We packing the stands in Wrigley, unless it's cold as all hell. They ain't packing the stands on the White side. Yeah, that's another story. That's another rundown stadium, in my opinion. But anyways, Oakland A's are horrible. They're in for a complete remake of that whole franchise in the next year or two. They'll most likely be moving to Vegas in the next year or two. This team is historically bad to start the season. We got to go over 100 years. Over 100 years. You got to go over almost 125 years. They're going to be worse than teams that are over 125 years old. Let me just put that into perspective. They are going to be worse than the teams that are than two teams that are over 120 to 25 years old. As a professional, I don't know how I feel about that. If I was a professional baseball player, I don't know how I would feel about that. The clubhouse has to be a mess. I don't know what they're doing down there in Oakland. Anyways, moving forward to the AL, to the PSW MVP watch. So I broke this down into the NL, AL, doing a top three and an honorable mention. Uh, Starting off in the NL. Well, I think he was my front runner. He was my guy. Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, I know he got healthy. I know he got hurt. Last game or two, but I don't think it'd be cause for concern. I mean, he is on pace. He's like at one point he's a thousand plus on base percentage. And he's batting 362, 449, slugging 586, 449 on base percentage, 1.035 OPS. He's batting 5 home runs, 16 RBIs. Ronald Acuna Jr. is the early favorite to win the NL MVP. I mean, and they have the best team in the NL. So yeah, he's got the best on base slugging percentage out of one of the best on base slugging percentage out of all the candidates here. But he has a teammate, right? Sean Murphy's number 2 here from the Braves. He's batting 276, 422 on base percentage, 632 sluggage. Has a better on base slugging percentage. Sean Murphy does, batting in 8 home runs, 23 ribbies to start the season. Yeah, Sean Murphy has been, amazing. He's been one of the best acquisitions this offseason. And I mean, he's been one of the better catchers as well. This season as well. He's on pace to win a Gold Glove at that position as well. So Sean Murphy's a guy that we got to watch out for moving on in the season. Then number 3, we got Mookie Betts. It's kind of come back into life here in the last couple weeks or so. Didn't have a hot start, but he's coming back into form. Batting 270, 372 on base percentage, 486 slugging percentage, 859 on base slugging percentage, 5 home runs, 17 ribbies. Mookie Betts, obviously always has a great glove, speedy guy. He's definitely a guy to watch on the NL MVP watch list. And then my honorable mention, Luis Arias. I just talked about this kid. He's batting 435. We talked about it. I mean, he's in the same breath as Barry Bonds. I mean, not the best. He's not a power hitter, but he's like one of the best. He's probably the best contact hitter in baseball right now. Batting 435 so far this year. I mean, he's hitting at an historic clip right now. He's striking out only 4.8% of the time, and his 495 on base percentage is just insane. So he is barely striking out. He's walking a lot, and he's hitting the ball at a rapid clip for the Miami Marlins. So watch out for Luis Arias in the NL MVP race. Moving on to the AL MVP race. I mean, do I need to say that Matt Chapman has been lights out the best player in the American League? Batting 374, 455 on base percentage, 654 slugging percentage, 1.109 on base slugging percentage, batting in 21 RBIs and 5 home runs. Matt Chapman has been flat out amazing so far. Literally, this is his best season so far. One of the best third basemen. He's on pace for 110 RBIs, one of the highest, on base percentages in Major League Baseball. This kid is, he's definitely changed up how his approach is at the plate. Is definitely having a career year so far for the Toronto Blue Jays. Number 2 on the AL watch list for MVP, Wander Franco. This kid is, he's the real deal. I mean, he was the real deal last year. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge having a historic season, I mean, Wander Franco could have very well won the AL MVP last season, but he's looking like he's like he is looking like one of the top 10, top 5 actually baseball player in the majors this season. Only 22 years old. This kid is batting like he's batting 301, 368 on base percentage, 540 slugging percentage, .908 on base slugging percentage, 5 home runs, 18 ribbies, and his glove is just he's making a high right real catch or a play at shortstop, almost every other game. I mean, it's not even close. This kid is the real deal. So far this season. So, this kid is going places so far. And I mean, he's right there. I mean, Matt Chapman didn't have a hot year. He'd probably be number 1 in the MVP list. And then at number 3, I got Randy Arozarena here as my AL MVP, third on the list. Randy Arozarena he's kind of cooled off just like a couple games, but I mean he's hot. I mean in the month of April, I mean they have the best team in baseball. I mean he's like right there, like Wander Franco. I mean it's super close. But I mean he's batting. Randy Arozarena is batting 325. 388 on base percentage, 570 slugging percentage, 958 on base percentage, slugging percentage, 7 home runs and 28 ribbies. I mean, he's another guy. I mean, World Baseball Classic, his play has kind of translated into the major league season. I mean, he's looking at a 25 season with 100 ribbies. So Randy Arozarena is a guy to watch out for. When it comes to the AL MVP race. And then honorable mention, Bo Bichetti from the Toronto Blue Jays. They've been a little inconsistent, but the consistency in their lineup has been Bo Bichetti and Matt Chapman. He is one of the better shortstops in the league. He's one of the better hitters at shortstop in the league, batting 339, 382 on base percentage, 543 slugging percentage, .926 on base slugging percentage, hitting 7 home runs, 21 RBIs. Bo Bichetti has been solid as they come for the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's another guy to watch out for when it comes to the MVP race in the American League. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wrap for Prime Sports World and Rounding the Bases, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. And in case you missed this live feed, you can catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard. It's Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Prime Sports World. Keeps you up to date with the hottest content here on social media, sports content here on social media, 360 degrees, 24/7. Bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen, here at Prime Sports World. We will be back here at some point this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't want to miss that hot content that David and TJ will probably be bringing you with the crossover or XFL. So you guys watch out for all that content coming up. Hopefully this weekend. If not, we will be back here on Monday as always, ladies and gentlemen. So keep it locked in here at Prime Sports World. And as I like to say, ladies and gentlemen, in case I missed you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Sayonara, suckers.